What is up, everybody? My name is Benji Dum Dum Doggy Saxon. I'm here, as always, joined by my friend Tyler Faxi Frim. And today, we are casting Week 2, Day 2 of the NALCS. First match of the day, we've got Team Liquid 2-0 versus 100 Thieves 0-2. Tyler, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good. A lot of exciting matchups today. We're going to start off with 100 Thieves versus TL, and 100 Thieves, not really with the hottest start in Summer Split so far, have had a really hard schedule against EG and C9 in Week 1. And Team Liquid bouncing back after their lackluster Spring Split, and they're looking here to extend their win streak, and 100 Thieves is looking to just get that first one on the board.
It's going to be exciting indeed. Like you said, looking to get that first win, and Team Liquid looking to stay dominant. It looked a little bit shaky in that Golden Guardians game in Week 1, but I'm sure they patched their holes. They're looking to make a statement here. 3-0 is a really good start for the Summer Split. Remember, it's all about standings and seedings for this playoff picture. The top 4 teams looking a lot better than the next 4 teams after that, and they have a really good shot to get to Worlds if you're in the top 4, right? So really good stuff coming out of Team Liquid here, wanting to be 3-0, and 100 Thieves wanting to pick up that first win. Let's talk about pick and ban here a little bit, as we see 100 Thieves already picking up their bot lane with the Kalista and Thresh. Thresh is probably the best support in the game right now, and Kalista is one of the best ADCs. As a reply, Team Liquid's probably going to be picking up their bot lane for tactical, because as a reply, get that counter pick in there. They decide to go with the Ezreal. Really safe ADC, probably the best ADC in the game right now, with a Graves probably jungle. So kind of surprised that the Graves got through the draft, and I guess that's got to be because they banned Volley there with their third ban. What do you make of this, Tyler?
Well, what I'm seeing here is that Team Liquid recognizes that Someday is the big carry on this 100 Thieves roster, so they're tossing some respect fans in the set and the Volley Bear, not wanting him to have a dominant laning phase, trying to keep him down, maybe on that Ornn duty. And it looks like Broxah taking a page out of his brother in EU, self-made, picking up the Graves, and another TF pick in the NALCS again, as we see Jensen going to be guiding it this time. TF, a little bit out of the meta, but still really good at roaming, really good at cashing people off, as 100 Thieves take advantage of these 2 top lane bans that TL did in the first phase, but pick up a powerhouse bot lane. Kalista, probably 3rd best ADC in the meta right now. Thresh, probably the best support. And then a good, solid scaling pick for Ryoma in the Azir that can keep him safe in the mid lane while also keeping him as a late game threat against this TL comp.
Azir, staple mid lane champion, very solid, like an Orianna, and probably scales a little bit better and a little bit faster as well. Super solid pick for Ryoma, and as a reply to Jensen as well. Amazing team fight potential. And just to talk a little bit about Jensen's TF pick here in the mid lane, we saw Pobelter pick it up yesterday, I think, against Golden Guardians, was it, right? And so TF, it seems at this point, is kind of like a pocket pick for some mid laners. Some mid laners are willing to pick it up, while others are not. It gives you a lot of map pressure, and it puts a lot of power into the mid lane's hands. I'm interested to see what Jensen does with this pick, because Jensen, as a player, is not someone that I attribute to roaming a lot. Right? I attribute roaming to like Niski or like Jizuke or something like that. Jensen, I think he's a mid laner who likes to stay in lane, have a really nice CSD at 10, right? And he's kind of like, a stat check mid laner, in my opinion. So I'm really interested to see what he does with this pick. He's going to have to put some pressure on the map in order to make it successful, and we're just going to see how that works out as we see 100 Thieves banning 2 supports, Bard and Braum, both very strong supports, trying to limit CoreJJ's wheelhouse here, as I'm interested as why they're not banning top laners instead of supports, but that's neither here nor there, as we see Team Liquid banning out junglers instead, wanting to get the Kindred and the Trundle off the board here. Who's left, Tyler? Who do we see? Who's going to be picked here?
In the jungle?
Yeah, for Meteos. Sorry.
Okay. So I think Meteos will be picking something. Oh, he locks the needle off. I was about to say something that maybe can match the Graves in the early game a little bit. Probably on the tankier side, since you do have like two really strong carries in the Kalista and Azir already. I do like 100 Thieves taking advantage of the fact that Cody's on a very consistent ADC, but on top of that, they did get a very strong bot lane in this draft. So banning out that Braum and Bard, trying to limit Team Liquid's options on trying to destroy this great bot lane that they've got themselves here. And on the other side, Team Liquid banning the Kindred, not wanting Graves to be matched in any way. Surprising Trundle ban, but it looks like that they were taking that Trundle ban to prep for the Ornn pick, since they do not want Trundle to steal Ornn's stats in these team fights. And it's just looking like they're going blow for blow, saving the last pick for Someday. They're big carrying the top lane. As a Blitzcrank cover comes out for Core JJ, will they lock it in though? And it's looking like it. They only have 2 seconds. And that is a Blitzcrank lock in for Core JJ. Good with the Ezreal, because Ezreal can farm solo bot lane and kind of just nullifying this Kalista and Thresh pick, because, Kalista and Thresh really want to be aggressive, get in the face of the TL bot lane, and, Ezreal just denying that. And on top of that, Blitzcrank can now safely roam and not have to worry about his ADC dying. And on top of that, Twisted Fate can also ulti in for a lot of these team fights. So this TL comp looking really well rounded. Same on the 100 Thieves side.
Yes, I'm really excited about this Blitzcrank pick for Core JJ here in the bot lane. And I just want to touch on how crazy it is that you're leaving the last pick for your team to your star support player in Core JJ. And we don't see a lot of teams do that, TSM always saves the last pick for Bjergsen in the mid lane. You have Golden Guardians usually giving some priority to close or something, usually to their star players. But it's really cool to see Team Liquid. They're able to give the last pick to basically anybody on their team, because everybody is a threat on this roster here. And I am really excited to see the playmaking potential being used in, I guess, in this sort of way with Blitzcrank hooks. It's there's a lot of champs in this game. Feast or famine. Nidalee Spear. For instance, Blitzcrank hook right here, right? Gangplank barrels, right? Like, it's like skill shots that are very team fight, like game changing. If you land them, like, everything changes. I do have a question though. If you get Blitzcrank hooked, can that be negated by Kalista ultimate?
Yeah, it actually can. Kalista ult is really good at getting people out of bad situations. So if Stunt were to get hooked under tower or something and Kalista was linked with him, he can pull him out. However, I do think that this Blitzcrank is going to be looking to roam a little bit more, because they do have the TF in the same comp. A lot of roam potential, a lot of point-and-click CC that you can just put down onto any target. And, at the end of that, we didn't really talk about it, but Someday did pick the Aatrox into, so that's just a classic matchup that goes pretty even most of the time. But I do think TL recognizing that Someday is this massive rock for 100 Thieves in the top lane will probably look to dive it a lot with the Graves and the TF in the top lane early game.
I'm expecting stuff like that to happen in this game. And just to touch on a little bit about what you were talking about with the TF yellow card into a Blitzcrank hook, that is such a nasty combo, because the CC that comes out of TF is really, it's hard stuff to counter, right? There's not a lot that you can do. You really kind of just have to run away from the TF and hope that you escape the range of the yellow card. Because if you get yellow carded and Core JJ is in the area, you best believe you are going to get hooked into some crazy damage out of Tactical and Jensen there. So I'm really excited to see the team play that comes out of Team Liquid here. Kind of adopting a little bit of C9's play style. When you think about it, C9, very team-oriented, very team-heavy, making a lot of plays together. And I'm just really excited to see how these two teams play with two very clear win conditions.
Yeah, and I think if I'm 100 Thieves looking at this, you can honestly just see Team Liquid's game plan here. We're going to roam. We're going to get picks. We have a lot of point-click CC. Let's just, snowball this game out of control. And I think a lot of weight goes onto Stunt's shoulders in order to match Core JJ in these roams, keeping people safe with those lanterns, since Kalista will have priority in a 1v1 against Ezreal. However, that does mean Kalista may have a little bit of trouble deciding who she wants to link with. Obviously, she's going to link with Thresh eventually, but she won't really be able to utilize her ulti in lane much this game, I don't think. And on top of that, it's a very even jungle matchup, I would say, giving Meteos a little bit of an edge in the early game since it is Olaf, but he will get quickly outscaled by this Graves. And I'm excited to see Broxa on this carry jungler since we have seen him on more of a supportive role since he has joined Team Liquid.
Right, and we see all of the champs loading onto the Rift, getting themselves out there, and yeah, I'm excited for this Broxa Meteos matchup too. Broxa on the Graves, very carry oriented, impact on the Ornn against Someday. Like that is a tried and true matchup that we see so many times in the NALCS there. But if there's anybody who's going to exploit the Ornn and be able to really be a thorn in the side of Team Liquid, it's going to be Someday on the Aatrox here. Probably the best top laner in the league, besides maybe say Licorice or someone around the top side there. Someday definitely having one of the highest, I guess you could say, singular wins, as we see a lot of CC going out onto Ryoma, who has to burn the cleanse instantly to avoid the yellow card blitz hook like we were talking about, and he's going to get out of that gank and be just fine.
Yeah, good heads up play out of TL, recognizing that Broxa is Graves. You can just solo his first buff. Thresh won't be around to help Ryoma, so they just go for a cheeky play, get a free summoner out, and now Ryoma will be vulnerable to future ganks until that cleanses back up.
Right. I don't know the cooldown on the cleanse specifically, but CoreJJ looking to roam. We talked about it earlier. He's gonna definitely be back in this mid lane soon, as we see Someday gets to level 2 first before Impact, so he's able to get some damage onto his counterpart there up in the top lane. And like we were saying earlier, if anyone's going to exploit this matchup, it's going to be Someday. Even though it's a super even one, we can see it's really a skill check here for these players, and the best top laner will win this matchup.
As we pan over to the bot lane now, we do see Cody Sun and Stunt taking advantage of this powerhouse bot lane they did get in the draft. Should be excited to play this because, it's not often both these champions get through the draft, and it's already amounted to a little bit of a CS lead for Cody Sun there, about a wave ahead, although this next wave is about to crash into the TL bot lane tower. And, Tactical itemizing towards Doran's shield, definitely realizing he will be on the back foot for most of this game.
Wanting to keep himself alive as long as possible. As we see the mid lane matchup's going to be pretty even. TF is a little bit weaker than Azir, just a straight head-to-head matchup, but he has a lot of sustain in blue cards and whatnot, so he's going to be able to stay in lane for pretty much as long as Ryoma is able to stay in lane. And he's definitely going to be able to outlast Ryoma, at least in the mana department, just because of the blue cards. So we're just going to have to see when they decide to back, and based off their backs, we'll be able to see who comes out on top with these with the CS lead and whatnot. As we see, Ryoma is backing right now, picking up an amplifying tome for himself and a dagger. And Jensen deciding to stay. As we look into the top lane, Impact taking some damage here, taking a lot of harassment from Someday here. Not what he wants to do, but he's just gonna build some Ornn items and he'll be fine.
And Someday is taking a page of the LS book. I think he was looking to set up a freeze right there, really starving Someday out of a lot of CS since he is about 10 CS down now. Both junglers opted for a full clear, so they both backed, both have around the same items. Broxa a little bit of an edge with the Boots of Speed and Meteos itemizing towards the utility in the 2 control wards as Someday finds Broxa and will try to engage. Broxa's just going to walk away. And, Jensen definitely winning out on this mid lane matchup right now. I would say a way better first back than Ryoma had.
Right.
In getting the Catalyst over Ryoma's just Dagger and Amp Tome. And on top of
agree.
that, yeah.
Sorry.
And on, it's fine. And on top of that, Tactical has caught up in CS, but this priority that 100 Thieves has allowed them to create a little bit of a trap here for Broxa in their bottom side jungle, as Broxa will be pathing towards there, but I do not think the idea was to set up a trap. They're just counter jungling. Stunt is around to keep people safe. Stunt is in this bush. No vision for TL over here, and it looks like he'll just be going straight back bot lane to meet up with his lane partner. Oh,
Jensen recognizing that his left side is clear, as made known by Broxa, as Meteos and Stunt are going to be trying to pick up the first Drake of the game, Ocean Drake. It's going to be seen by CoreJJ and Broxa here. Tactical is going to come and help. Tactical getting hooked by Stunt there, who's going to go in onto him. A lot of damage being taken out, and that's going to be first blood for Broxa there. Impact on its TP in. Ornhorn coming in. It's going to hit Ryoma, and that's going to be blue team stealing the Ocean Drake away from 100 Thieves. As Broxa is going to be running down Meteos here. A lot of movement speed because he's got the boots, and Meteos does it, and that is a dead Olaf in the mid lane.
Yeah, and so surprising that Impact, of all people, to pick up that dragon there. But it just looks like, TL recognizing that they have the better positioning here in this team fight. Everyone is ready. Aatrox was looking to back beforehand, so he may not have been as strong as he wanted to be in that team fight. But TF coming in, CoreJJ missing the hook, but Stunt, getting really aggro onto Tactical here. But like I said, all that point and click damage and CC from this TL comp just really helps them lock them down. And then Impact with the Ornhorn gets onto Ryoma. Ryoma is out of the fight, cannot cast any abilities. Meteos stays to and try secure the dragon, but like I said, Impact, out of everyone there, ended up picking it up, and then will get chased down by Broxa, who does have the Phase Rush on the Graves. Very potent combo to chase down and kill Meteos there.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Phase Rush is meant to do, especially, given he's got boots, Meteos doesn't. He's going to be able to run you down, and he will be able to take you out. Meteos, however, unfazed by the recent death, is going to be stealing the red buff away from Broxa here on the bottom side. Stunt and Meteos picked up, and they see Tactical here. Hook not been used yet. It's going to miss. The hook from CoreJJ will not miss, however, and that's going to be a dead Meteos again, as CoreJJ and is going to run down Cody Sun and Stunt. Started laughing there because Cody Sun tried to stop the tower from hitting him, but picked up aggro regardless, as Broxa is going to be trying to run down Stunt, who's going to get picked up by the Blitzcrank hook, and that is a dead Thresh there in the bottom lane.
Yeah, looking like early 2K gold lead for TL here. 4 kills to 0 in Ocean Drake under their belt. Looking great. Doing exactly what they want. Putting a lot of resources into Broxa here. Tactical not starting off too shabby either. Taking the Cole. Just ready to outscale this Kalista, which is, the real goal for TL here. Just trying to outscale this Olaf and Kalista. Really unfortunate play in the bot lane for 100 Thieves. They try to make a proactive play onto the Ezreal they thought was alone.
Oh,
Ryoma goes in.
Goes in, uses the Shurima Shuffle, and Jensen's going to have to flash out of that to make sure that he's safe. He didn't flash there. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be dead. Brox is there to back him up, and there will be no kills traded. Good try out of 100 Thieves to try to make something happen. But it was all in vain, as Jensen's just going to be able to flash out, and we see Team Liquid's going to be able to pick up this Rift Herald for themselves.
Yeah, good heads-up play again from 100 Thieves, recognizing that they are stronger, should be stronger in this early game compared to the TL comp, trying to get some plays down, trying to be aggro, but it's just really not working out. They keep getting denied. That bot lane play, did not know where CoreJJ was, came back at the wrong moment for 100 Thieves, resulting in Meteos and Stunt's death. My apologies. And then again in the mid lane, Someday Roman down. Good proactive play. Ryoma getting the stream and shuffle down on him, but still can't connect on those kills yet. Meteos is sitting in the tri-bush, however, with the control ward in it. Maybe looking to set up a trap. Broxa is on the top side, and Ryoma does have the mid lane priority. No TP up for either top laner, and it just looks like they're going to back off the play.
And it's a little sad to see the advantage that Cody Sun was building for himself. He had a CS lead, but it just kind of gets negated now, given that Tactical has 2 kills for himself. and a better inventory than that of Cody Sun at this point in the game. Kalista is a champion, an ADC that's supposed to have prio against Ezreal in this lane, and he gets negated because of the earlier plays here, as we see Impact shoring up some of the losses and harassment that he was receiving from Someday earlier, and he's going to be able to trade with him now and pick up and even out the CS deficit that Someday acquired for himself.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves, I would be a little bit worried if I were them right now. You know, you are going to get outscaled eventually in this game. The Blitzcrank may not be as impactful late game, but still, you still have the Graves and the Ezreal and the Twisted Fate, all solid mid to late game champions to fall back on. And 100 Thieves really only has Ryoma on this Azir. Maybe the Aatrox, but for sure, this Olaf is really going to fall behind late game, and he already has fallen behind in the early game, as well as TL dropping the Rift Herald down, trying to really negate and nullify this powerhouse bot lane that 100 Thieves picked up in the draft as they go aggro onto the dragon.
Gonna try to pick up the second dragon for themselves here, and it looks like it will go unanswered from the side of 100 Thieves here, not wanting to do anything about it, as we see Meteos is in the area, but just wants to pick up the Gromp, back away maybe, and that is going to be second Drake here. As we see, it's going to be a Cloud Soul for this game. Definitely something Team Liquid is interested in. I think a Blitzcrank with a Cloud Soul is a very scary sight to see, especially a Twisted Fate as well. I can just imagine now Jensen TPing on the back line of 100 Thieves, and because of the movement speed, is able to just run down Cody Sun or Ryoma or anyone on the back line, really. And that's just a really scary sight to see. So 100 Thieves going to have to pull themselves together here, as they are 2,000 gold down from Team Liquid.
Yeah, and once again, it's just like such clean play out of Team Liquid. They recognize the thorns in their side for this game on the 100 Thieves comp, and that is the Olaf and the Kalista. So then they just go in from minute one, and they just try to nullify any impact they might be able to have. Although Cody Sun has not died yet, he is not in any way winning this matchup against Tactical. They put a Rift Herald bot lane for Tactical to pick up even more gold. CoreJJ is getting out on the map. Stunt has been able to do nothing. Same with Meteos, and with two Drakes already under their belt, and Cloud coming up, it's looking a little bleak really early for 100 Thieves here. As you already said, 2k gold down, and no one really on this map being able to make an impact on the 100 Thieves side. This Ornn Aatrox matchup in the top, tried and true, but it just goes even. We have never been able to decide a clear winner in this matchup, as Broxah is possibly looking for a play in the bot side. A lot of vision control on the bot side right now for TL.
A lot of vision indeed here, and I'd be interested to see a gold graph, just to see how much gold is exactly in the hands of Tactical compared to his lane opponent in Cody Sun. Because remember, he's got a CS lead, he's got a kill lead, he's also got a turret plate lead at this point because of the Rift Herald. So I would be interested to see just how much gold is in his pocket here, and also see if he's got more gold than Brox at this point, because they do have the exact same scoreline and bounty on their heads. So you see CoreJJ and Broxah getting a little aggressive here. They know they have the pressure, so Brox is going to be stealing this blue buff under the nose of 100 Thieves. And Stunt is going to get picked up and grabbed by CoreJJ, but that will get negated by Cody Sun there, and Jensen's just going to ult in and get the kill onto Stunt. And Cody Sun's going to get dove by 3 members of Team Liquid. That is 2 kills for 0 deaths for Team Liquid. Excellent play out of them.
And again, such clean play out of them. They see Meteos backed, and with how paranoid 100 Thieves are right now, Ryoma instantly moved over to help protect Meteos, but after he backed, Ryoma goes back to the mid lane as they look for another play.
Onto Ryoma there. Ornhorn's going to miss because of Someday behind Impact, and Ryoma and Meteos are going to be there. Ryoma picks up the blue buff. Jensen's going to hit the yellow card into a Blitzcrank hook, and that is CoreJJ taking down Ryoma there in the blue side jungle for Team Liquid. 7 kills to 0, and that is a 4K gold lead for Team Liquid at this point in the game.
Yeah, and as I was saying before that, in that bot lane play, 100 Thieves really just have to stick together right now, which is not something you really want to be doing, given that you want to do a bunch of cross-map plays. But here we get a replay of CoreJJ and Broxah invading, knowing Meteos is gone. And, this is just a really awkward Thresh hook, honestly. You have no idea. Oh, as another play goes down onto Stunt.
CoreJJ going to be taking down Stunt, getting a really good scoreline for himself as Someday picks up the first kill for 100 Thieves as he takes down CoreJJ in reply. Support for support here. And, if you are playing Fantasy LCS, you got to be really happy that you've got CoreJJ on your squad right now.
Yeah, me having Ryoma, I am not too thrilled with how this game is going, but it's okay. He's 0-1. But as I was saying beforehand in that play before, I think that was just a lot of smart play out of CoreJJ as another play goes down on the Impact.
You're just not getting a chance to say what you need to say as Meteos runs down Impact there on the bottom side jungle. Impact staying a little bit too long. 100 Thieves, good on them to realize, hey, this guy is out of position here. Shurima shuffles into the waiting axes of Meteos.
And yeah, once again, we just see 100 Thieves trying to make plays. They've been a little bit more successful recently, trying to go aggro onto this Cloud Drake, knowing that Impact is down. They have the TP on Someday. Jensen is walking down with the ulti as they look for a play, maybe.
Broxah is going to dive in, get himself killed by 3 members of 100 Thieves. CoreJJ missed the hook there initially. So that wasn't able to help Broxah, and he just tries to steal and just does not work for him as 100 Thieves pick up their first Drake of the game. Let's get a replay here. Tyler, break this down.
So Stunt's walking up. No one's with them. Kind of awkward. Trying to hold the tower. Someday is walking down as well as Meteos behind him. But look at that. Just point and click CC gold card into the rocket grab as we were talking about in the beginning of the game. Just instantly blows up Stunt. However, CoreJJ is a little bit caught out here. He does have no escape on the Blitzcrank and has no mobility at that point. CoreJJ is now looking to set up some deep vision in the 100 Thieves jungle as, TL is in like the driver's seat right now for sure. It is only a 2K gold lead, so it is 100 Thieves can come back from this. However, they really do have to stall out this game, slow it down a little bit, and that is a little counterintuitive given that they do have the Kalista on this roster, and she really is a mid-game power spike champion as well as she is strong in the early game. But right now with tactical and 2 items and picking up the Iceborne Gauntlet with his Cold Complete, he is just so strong. Once he gets that Man Immune done, I believe he's just stronger than Cody Sun for the rest of the game, honestly. And in the top lane, Someday is going to finish that Black Cleaver, pathing towards the Death's Dance, going aggro on an Impact here a little bit. And once again, Impact just not giving Someday anything to work with. Can't snowball this lead, can't make this solo lane on 100 Thieves a tear to deal with, as the mid lane tower does fall for TL here. 100 Thieves.
2 towers to 2 here for this game. And what was a 4K gold lead has now been diminished to around a 3K or at least a 2.9K gold lead. So 100 Thieves trying to find ways to claw back into this game here as Meteos tries to put some pressure onto Impact there in the top lane. But, if you're trying to put pressure on Impact, it's just not going to work. Impact being one of the most solid rock players for all the orgs that he's been on. Team Liquid, most recently, but back even on his Cloud9 days, it was Impact in the top lane. He can carry games, and he has carried games. He carried games last week on the Mordekaiser, but he can also be a super reliable tank, right? Just a very versatile player. And if you're trying to make your lead out of the top lane, which I know 100 Thieves want to do with Someday there because that's their best player, it's just not going to work. As CoreJJ is going to get hooked into a reply ult from Cody Sun to negate the hook, as Someday is going to TP in to this lane. 5v5 here as they try to negate the Shelly dive here onto their mid lane tower. It's gonna get his damage out, and it's a question of do they? Yep, they are gonna destroy that turret here as Core JJ gets ulted on. Oranhorn going to be replied. It's going to hit 3. Cody Sun going to get bursted down, and that is one dead member of 100 Thieves. His stun is super low. Needs to get out of there as fast as possible. And look, Team Liquid is going to back off now. Just take all of Meteos' jungle and reset.
Yeah, another good heads-up play out of TL. I mean, I like 100 Thieves mentality. They do have 2 items on the Azir. He is not weak per se. You have a lot of like good things going for you since you were able to catch up. As Tactical is going to go aggro, burning the ult out of him. The World Ender is not up for him, probably for the next fight, which will most likely be at this Cloud Drake. But as I was saying, like 100 Thieves thought they could maybe claw back a little bit there, given that they had decent positioning. They had a strong front line, but Meteos has path towards the Spirit Visage, which I like to point out, since Broxah is also kind of a pseudo front line in that the Graves kind of has to get up close to do meaningful damage in these team fights. And with that Warrior Enchantment, as well as the Berserker's Greaves, not that. Black Cleaver, sorry.
All good.
He will shred Meteos. And as we saw last fight, it's just 100 Thieves has no front line to work with right now, since Stunt also path towards the Shurelya's Revelry. Has 20 seconds up until this next Cloud Drake is up. 100 Thieves proactive on the wards. Do have control in the bot side. Someday is down there as well. Jensen going to take that top tower as Impact walks down. Jensen looking to just continue pushing top lane. He does have TP on the Summoner's Spellbook. 100 Thieves looking to start the dragon, and I think TL is just going to give it up for mid prio and top prio. I'm expecting Jensen to be able to lock down this tower, and TL is just going straight aggro onto this inhib tower here. Someday will walk over, try and push people off of it, but just honestly late back set of 100 Thieves there as they get the inhib down to about half. Looking to back up. Meteos going a little aggro onto Impact, but does he know? Oh my god, gets hooked over the wall.
Gets hooked, not able to ult in time to stop it. And the Oranhorn's going to clip Meteos, and he's not going to die. He will die eventually to Brox's gas can. And that's going to be Team Liquid taking the initiative. They're in the driver's seat right now, going to go forward and get some damage onto 100 Thieves. Core JJ taking down really low. Is going to get killed by Someday. That's 1-for-1 trade right now. But it's little to no avail. They're going to lose their mid inhibitor.
And if you're TL right now, after that picking off Meteos, they are a little bit late on it since they did get a little greedy for the inhib and then went for a proactive play. But I would have gone for the Baron right there if I were TL. You just picked off you have a lot to work with in damage to this Baron. They decided to take the inhib and just go for another kill, but that just results in Core JJ getting caught out. Not the end of the world. However, it does give 100 Thieves a little bit of breathing room as Broxah is going to be found out in the river, possibly. No, Riom just walking right past him. Don't really know what he's doing down there. Maybe looking to push the lane, but deciding that it is unsafe to walk up against this Team Liquid. That is 5k gold ahead, 10-4 in kills, 6-2 in towers. Even in dragons, however, 100 Thieves have been able to claw back in that department. Someday looking to back. Maybe he has enough gold for the Death Stance. He does. Picks that up. Impact level 13. One more level until you can start upgrading items on the side of TL. Probably going to upgrade that Iceborne Gauntlet on Tactical next. As this is interesting. Core JJ has picked up a QSS. I don't really know why. Maybe he is afraid of getting hooked by the Thresh and maybe getting locked down as a result. Although there is not much other point-and-click CC on the side of 100 Thieves. And so with the Runans and the Bork completed for a Cody Sun here, this is like the biggest power spike Kalista gets in most. So 100 Thieves really kind of itching for a fight right now. Would be nice for Meteos to pick up his second item since he does need to survive as long as he can. But Tactical has picked up the Executioner's Calling, not allowing for any healing out of Meteos or Cody. Is almost there on the Death Stance as TL look to go aggro on the bot lane tower here.
Super clean play coming out of Team Liquid here, denying Meteos basically any farm that he can get in order to get the second item for himself. clearing the jungle time and time again. Look how they're positioned on the mini-map now, just completely surrounding 100 Thieves and keeping them contained in their base. There is no wave that 100 Thieves have that goes past their tier 2, right? So they're just in turtle mode for the time being, as they're going to lose another turret to the might of Broxah on this Graves here, as Meteos and Stunt trying to make something happen on impact here. That's a really tanky boy. He's going to flash out of the way of the hook. Meteos and Stunt just going to back off there as they burn the flash from impact. Got to watch out for the reply from Team Liquid here. That is an ult from the TF. Got to watch out for that, as it's not going to be used to teleport to anything but the bot lane, as that's going to be Jensen and Someday matching up. They're going to put some damage on an Impact, burn him down surprisingly. Don't know what Impact was doing there, and that's going to be 1 kill over to 100 Thieves.
Yeah, good job getting some gold back onto Ryoma. Probably pathing towards the Void Staff next, since he will need to be killing Impact, something Cody Sun will most likely not be able to do, as 100 Thieves is now taking advantage of that, looking to try and claw their way back into this game and look for a Baron play. TF is on the bot side, does still have the TP, as well as Someday. So both champions down in the bot lane have TP, as TL are this Baron. Broxah looking to steal, gets in the pit, and he steals it.
Oh my gosh, and if you're 100 Thieves, you must be heartbroken at this point, because not only do you lose the Baron, you lose Meteos and Someday. You're basically your 2 carries. That's going to be Stunt being taken down, as they're going to try and take out the rest of 100 Thieves and end this game right now. That's Ryoma going down. Only Someday's left alive. Only player on the side of 100 Thieves that hasn't died yet. 2-0-0. Dude, just save your stat line at this point. Try to save yourself. All the people that, whoever has you in fantasy is really hoping for that at this point, as 100 Thieves are going to lose their inhib turret and inhibitor itself. Going to be Broxah clearing the wave in the mid lane, and it's looking like this game is over at this point.
Yeah, Teal looking to push in for the win, and it's just all but over. 100 Thieves is up. Ryoma will be up in about 15 seconds, but that just does not matter, as he'll re-engage on to 100 Thieves and will take out Meteos instantly. Someday getting low, Stunt getting lower, and it looks like Stunt will go down. And
Someday won't.
Oh, and the heads up play out of Ryoma. Why would you int? You're on my roster. And honestly, just such a lackluster start for 100 Thieves this split. After finishing 3rd in the regular season last split, we were hoping for them to maybe challenge for one of those top 4 spots this summer split. And I know that their schedule has been really. I do believe they go against Immortals tomorrow, so that might be a bounce back game that they really need. But it's just really bad for 100 Thieves. They cannot find an identity or a way to play the game right now, and it's really hurting them.
It's definitely hurting them indeed, and the meta is not helping them. Top lane is not the lane that you want to be playing through in this particular meta, just because of the other champions on the map. It's kind of a mid jungle duo type of game right now, and with a player like Someday, you can't. It's gotta hurt, right? You're 2-0-0. You're the only player on your team that hasn't died that game, but the rest of the map is just getting slaughtered by Team Liquid time and time again. But alas, that's going to result in a loss for 100 Thieves and a win for Team Liquid. They're going to be 3-0 now, looking really, really good at the start of this split, and I'm excited to see where this team goes from here. But that's going to be it for us right now, and we'll see you guys in the next.